Welcome everyone. Welcome to our afternoon chat, our lunchtime chat, and I'm really pleased to be able to squeeze in Richard Carter, the co-founder of Lopay. I don't know if you've seen the posts within the group over the last few weeks. I recommended Lopay within the group, and it kind of went a bit crazy. And I reached out to Richard and said, "Look, I've got a load of dog groomers in here that are really interested in your services. So why don't you come and have a chat with us?" So welcome, Richard. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, thanks, and thank you so much for that warm introduction. It's clear that you've got a lot of passionate and informed owners and operators on your in your group, and obviously I jumped on and gave some feedback to some of those questions last week. I hope I managed to answer them all okay. But yeah, it's great to see that we've already had I think probably I'd say about 60 or 70 pet grooming businesses sign up, and I guess I can give you attribution for that on the basis that I haven't been proactively chasing it as a particular sector. So yeah, delighted with that. Thank you.
Now, be honest. Did you know that pet grooming was an industry? Did you miss that one off your tick list?
well, it's funny because we have a pet grooming business at the end of our road in London, and I always see how busy it is. And also, there's like a coffee thing outside, so there's a lot of very nice sort of area outside and dog grooming combo, which I think is quite a nice business model actually. I did think that kind of does look like it would really fit well. And whenever I see a white sum up or an Izettle in any shop, I just know that's a shop that is a candidate to cut their costs in half with using our solution. So they did have one, and I have spoken to them, and they have taken it up. So.
Excellent. I hope you recommended the group as well. And I'm the same. I sit there in shops, and I'm a big advocate for card machines, and I'm totally open and honest with my audience, and I will actually go out of my way to avoid companies that only take cash. And I had a very embarrassing experience at hairdressers a few weeks ago. Got my hair cut, got my kids' hair cut, and went to pay by card because I'm sure they took card, but no, they don't. And I was like, oh, this is awkward because all I've got is my phone on me, and I can't even get cash out of the wall with my phone. So I had to go all the way back home and get the cash. And then I got the wrong cash. I didn't get enough out. So it was like backwards and forwards. So I actually go out of my way. If I go to cafes and they don't take card, I'm actually like, you know what? I won't go back there again. I just don't carry cash with me. Big advocate.
Yeah, and that's more and more the case. And I think that what we found is that people are now more focused on the charges that they're actually paying for card, because the card acceptance level has gone up so much. We've had a few hundred taxi drivers sign up for our solution in the last few weeks on the basis that they might have not traditionally have taken cards before. Certainly a lot of the regional businesses where it'd be like, no, cash only, mate. Whereas now it's actually, I kind of need a way to take funds. And a lot of the taxi drivers they don't even need to order our payment terminal. They just show their phone and say, okay, can you scan that? So we found a lot of people have been taking that up. And yeah, it's the whole card economy is really increased. So there's more focus on what that cost is. I mean, in some sectors they're paying 3 or 4% to take payments, and I just feel it's time to sort of disrupt it a little bit, because there's sort of the 2 or 3 main players being Zettle, Square, and SumUp, and they've basically got a triopoly, and they're all 1.69, 1.75, very comfortably in this sort of area of fat margin. And I've sort of come in and done a Ryanair and an EasyJet on them. So it's I think more a bit more EasyJet than Ryanair. But yeah, that's kind of the high level approach.
You didn't paint your terminals orange? I wondered.
No, I've had a lot of feedback saying, oh, it'd be nice if you could make them white. Because obviously that's the SumUp and Zettle ones are white. Funnily enough, we've actually got some quite cool covers, like a ruggedized rubber thing that we can put on them as well, and potentially brand them. And also we're looking at a mount, because we've got a couple of sets going. I'd like to mount it onto the table with a good sturdy device, in addition to a custom mount for vehicles, because we've got such large demand in the taxi sector as well.
Yeah, brilliant. So maybe we just go back a little bit and just tell us a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to become this disruption in the car.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love people.
Yeah, Thanks. Yeah, the disruptor. I come from a consulting background. I used to work for Shell doing loyalty schemes at Shell, and over the last 2 or 3 years, I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a business called Pay that is in over 2,000 pubs and restaurants in the UK, which does ordering and payment at the table. And as a result of the learnings that we had from doing ordering and payment at the table in hundreds or thousands of bars in the UK, I sort of realized that people were comfortable with more comfortable transacting with our mobile, but also the QR code as a phenomenon was a lot more accepted. It used to be very, very well used in the East, as it still is, but not very well known in the West. And as a result of NHS and all of the ordering and payment and seated dining last year, everybody's become aware of a QR code. So I was thinking, well, I'm paying. I've got hundreds of people using our payment solution in restaurants to scan a QR code on a bill to pay and go. I'm like, well, why would they not just do the same on a mobile phone? Because they're comfortable with it now. So we launched a Lopay on the basis originally of just being a very simple app where you can generate a QR code or send a link and just show somebody the link, and they can scan it and take a payment. And as that evolved and the demand for it grew, and then we had the opportunity to then issue our own payment terminals, then that suddenly really turbocharged the business, because then you were, rather than just a clever innovator who's capitalizing on QRs, you were then somebody who could go head to head with a Zettel, SumUp, and Square. So it was fortuitous timing, and also then the fact that we realized that what was being charged in the sector, we were like, wow, I mean, we can save, for example, an average London cabbie around £3,000 to £4,000 a year.
Wow.
So a beautician or potentially a pet care owner of like £2,000 to £2,000, £2,000 or £3,000 a year. So these are quite big numbers. It's quite hard to put those numbers into your business as a profit or a margin level. So yeah, it's really exciting. Really, it feels good as well, because our slogan, or which we say our strapline is "You've earned it," and that's like, you've earned it. Why don't throw it away? It's like yours. Have more of it. So it's a really nice, compelling, and easy story to tell.
Yeah, and I suppose it's being able to recognise and then take advantage of the pandemic. I've always said, COVID's been horrendous for many, many families, but it's also been an eye-opener for many, many businesses as well. And it's been, it sounds like that's kind of, you've looked at it and gone, actually, there's an opportunity here with the QR codes, the seated ordering and stuff like that. So.
Exactly, yeah, and it comes with additional benefits of not just getting a solution that's comparable to what's available on the market for less than half the price, but also having flexibility. So one of the things that when we did the research for our solution that we found was that people just want the flexibility to, let's say, I need my money now. Literally, I want it right now. And we were the only solution that enables you to flick between, like, let's say, a weekly schedule or a next day schedule, which is only 0.99%. And say you had a very large takings on a Saturday or a weekend, and you needed that money that evening to go out and have a few drinks or whatever, you can just say, pay me now. And even at the weekend, those funds go immediately into your bank account. And that's unique. So you've got this flexibility. So again, it's your money, you've earned it. You choose the terms and you get a better rate. So this whole piece of giving that control and giving that best point of value is just been so important and really well received.
Excellent. And I was just reading a comment. Been using, so Lisa's saying, been using my Lopay this week and love it. Simple to use, no connection issues whatsoever. So, high five, well done.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, what's really interesting is that in the early days we had a situation whereby we connected to the terminal only when you then turned your phone on, and we looked at different ways because we were actually managing the battery. So we've put it now so it's a really intelligent connection that immediately lights up the device. So I'm glad that's working well and you're enjoying that.
So that's the reason why you did it. So tell us how does it work? How does Lopay work?
It's super simple, and anybody who's used SumUp or Zettel before, it's really very similar. Ultimately, you download an app from the Google Play or Apple Store, You answer a handful of questions, very simple, and then you can immediately enter a value into the device, and you could show a QR code and take a payment via a QR code, or you could send a payment request link immediately for somebody to pay. When you're in the app, and initially you then have the option to then order your free card reader. So again, our competitors charge £29 plus. For these, we give the first one for free. So the reason we wanted to do that was because if somebody said, oh, well, I've kind of paid 29 quid for one already, you just go, well, doesn't matter. Just put that to one side and keep it as a backup. You've got another one that's free. So use this and pay half the price. So that's why we've chosen to do so. But ultimately, you download the app, you register a small amount of details, takes 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can order a free card reader, and that will be with you within 3 to 5 days. And then you can start transacting either via your device or your mobile to take a payment on it, or send payment request links, or via the payment terminal as you normally would. And I think one point that I can really thank you for pointing out to me, and I since come made very clear, is the payment request link thing is quite important for people. I think in the pet grooming industry who can often be let down by people not attending appointments. So I've spoken to obviously yourself and a couple of people in the sector to say how powerful it is to be able to be taking a call from somebody saying, okay, you're booking for a grooming on Tuesday the 28th at 1 o'clock. Okay, if you just hold on 1 second, I'm going to send you a link to pay your deposit for that booking. There you go, £20. Yeah, you should see that in your email or in your WhatsApp or text message just right now. If you'd like to select that link, it's just one click and it will pay by Apple Pay or Google Pay, or you can enter the card details immediately, and then I can confirm or secure your booking. Thank you. No more delinquency, no more, not turning up. So that's something that, again, it's just so great talking to people in your community to then say that solved a business problem for me, as well as being less than half the price of some of the other solutions as well.
That's it. So you can send a link to the person on the phone whilst you're talking to them, and you can send that link either via email, WhatsApp, text message, and then the customer has the option to use Apple Pay or Google Pay, or they put their card details into that and then pay via card.
Absolutely. Shall I show you on the phone? Shall I just do a quick demo? Yeah. Let me just do that. It's so easy. I'll share my phone. Hopefully my BBC or messages from my kids won't pop up on the thing. So share my screen, sharing, start broadcast. Here we go. So here we go. So if we go, can you see my screen now? So here's the Lopay app. You literally just launch the app, enter in a value. In fact, I'll send you £1 if that's okay. A request for £1 for your time. I'll buy you a beer next time I see you. So here's £1. Sagiris is just the company that I use for my demo account. I put £1 in, I press done, and then I've got the option of using this device, which obviously if you were here and I wanted to take £1 off you, I'd just say, please can you scan this? And you scan it and it would go through to your normal Apple Pay, Google Pay function. But what I'm doing now is sending you a payment request link. So I'm going to send you a link. And when I send you the link, I'll just say demo here, or I should say booking.
Yeah.
1300 Feb 12th, and then I go done, and then that just goes through to WhatsApp, and I would go, there you go, Bill, and then I could put any text in there and go thanks, and then I will send you that link now, and then that will come to you in WhatsApp. So if you want to pay that, I'll just show everybody how it then represents on the terminal when it does. But it's super easy, and then within the app we can go in and look at your previous transactions. You can refund people. You can look at when you're going to get paid out from your payment request that you've just sent. There's my £1 that I've just sent you as a payment request. You can go in and you can select which payment schedule that you would like to be on, next day, weekly, or instant. You can then order a card reader from here as well. You can and then select the bank account and various other details as well. We also have the concept of a pay point, and a pay point is something where you can order a sticker where you can then put that anywhere, and then you can actually nominate the value to it. So let's say you had like a table, or a hairdresser, or you had like a bay, you could actually allocate a value to that bay. So I could just say like £1 and then send that to, I've got my breakfast bar in here because I for my family with demoing at home, but I just go breakfast bar, send £1, and obviously by overriding the value on it. And basically if somebody was in my house right now and they tapped or scanned that pay point, then it would charge them £1, and I would come back and say thank you. So it's almost like another version of the terminal, but you don't need it. So I originally developed that for car washes and for taxi drivers, so they could put the sticker on the partition screen behind the head and just say, oh yeah, just scan or tap that, please. So yeah, it's just super simple, and that's the whole reason why we developed this. Very simple, easy to use, and obviously, as you know, you can obviously send that to the card reader as well, and that will then just my card reader is now lit up and it's now contactless, etc. So yeah, hopefully that was clear. It's really very, very simple.
Well, what I was going to say, if technology allows me, I will share if I share my phone, and then people can actually see what a customer will see. So let me see if this should work, shouldn't it? So then a customer will get the link. So I've got that text message there. So we've got the text message there. So this is what your customer will see. Yeah. And then this is proper live, this is, so.
Yeah. Pressure. Yeah.
So this is what the customer will see. It will come through to their phone.
Booking, 1300 February, yeah.
Yeah, I've got Apple Pay sorted on my phone. And then there you can see, it's just asking me which card to pay by. My contact details. I'll double click that.
And obviously the great thing here, but you're going to get an automatic digital receipt because it's associated to your Google and Apple Pay accounts. There's no, sorry, what's your email address, love? Hang on, give me that @ what? Sorry, __. It's done because it's automatically associated to your Apple Pay account. And then you've got your receipt. There you go, done, instant.
And then you got your receipt. Is this receipt? Are you able to customize it at all? Put any branding around it at the moment?
Yeah, we will be able to in the future. Currently, we're not, because we just want it. We've got so much demand and scale right now. But I think down the line, you're right. The opportunity to then customize that with a book for next time, or give me feedback. How many stars was there? Whatever. And also, we'd be looking to put loyalty in there as well. So, like a stamp card. So, if you want to say, look, every visit you get a stamp, and then after 5 visits you get X pounds off. Those are all the things that we can add to that interaction. But that digital receipt, and then the opportunity to engage the customer afterwards, and then trigger that booking and get that next sale, all really important. And we learned that from the hospitality sector, because obviously in the hospitality sector you get your receipt from a nice restaurant. You say, would you like to book again? Do you recommend? Would you like to buy a gift card? All of those nice sort of things that dovetail into now being digital.
Yeah, and it'd be lovely to see on a receipt like a link to your Google reviews, Facebook recommendations, stuff like that, just to encourage that feedback from your customers as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, again, optionally configured by you. So absolutely. And that's what's great about working with communities like yours. You'll go, oh, do you know what? Actually, when you send that link for the calendar, could I send a calendar invite with it? Or could I actually make it a mini invoice? Could you just pull my details through and just say, yeah, invoice is, big dog 60 quid, or small dog 40 quid, however you price. Yeah. So we will be doing that, and that's really welcome the feedback in terms of making, it's quite nice to be able to have this control. It's not like you're dealing with a massive American company and PayPal or whatever. We've got something that's UK designed and made for business, and we've got the opportunity to influence it and sort of build it as per our customers' needs, really flexibly. So yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So Lopay gives you so many ways to get paid. So you can scan a QR code. Now I know because I've put a few QR codes on some of my posters, and I know there's a little bit of resistance for QR codes in the community. And being at a show a few months ago, I was like, look, you can join my Facebook group. I'm scanning the QR code, and they're like, oh, what do you do with that? And so I had to teach some people how to use a QR code. So
yeah,
there may be a little bit of resistance around the QR code, but if you get the hang of it, it's so quick and simple. And then you can educate your customers as well on how to use a QR code. But you can get paid by using a QR code. So you could have a little post on your reception desk, which you send that money to. You can get paid using a conventional card, contactless. And let's face it, the average transaction for most groomers won't be over £100. So, and the limit is £100, isn't it, for contactless?
Yeah, exactly.
And that will take Apple Pay and Google Pay as well, won't it? And then you can send out payment links as well. It's like it covers all those bases, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'll show you these. These are the our latest pay points that we've got. Hopefully, you can see that. And here, this is like a really quite a nice resin. And on here, you can scan or tap this. So, basically, imagine you've got your hands full and you didn't want to give the terminal. You could just enter it in your phone with your gloves on and just say, oh yeah, if you just like to scan or tap that, I'll take your payment. So it's really, really nice. And that's like a super sticky thing that you can actually scan or tap. So it uses the NFC. So, a little bit like the tube when you tap your phone on it. So yeah, again, that's a pay point. And I've got one in my kitchen breakfast bar that my wife tells me off that doesn't look very nice, but there we go.
You put your kids' pocket money through it all the time.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I should do, yeah.
Pay for your dinner, kids. Right, so let's talk about fees and charges and stuff like that. So people are clear, because there was a few questions in the group, are the fees on your website an introductory rate? There's a little bit of trust to be built here, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, payments is all about trust. So we've been really transparent, and I mentioned to you about that control piece, right? So we have three tariffs. One is 0.79% for being paid every Thursday. So that's our sort of budget option. People who just fine to be paid every Thursday. Most people, the vast majority of people, are going for the next day, the 0.99% option, because it's only a tiny bit more, but it means you just get that money next day every time. And that's next business day, as all payments are, apart from our instant payment option, which is sort of the upgrade, and that's 1.79. So basically the same as Zettel-ish, it's 1.75 versus 1.79, but you get immediately. And it's quite freaky, actually, because if I took money from you now, you get both the payment listing on Lopay, and then literally 1 second later you get the drop down at the top saying money received into bank account. It's a bit like if you've used American Express or your Visa card with your banking app, it just goes through so quickly. So to get those funds deposited into your bank account, so you can then go to cash and carry on a Sunday, or you can pay for X or Y and not have to wait. We're finding a lot of people are taking up that instant payout. And even if you can just dip in and out of it, so you can be on the 0.99 rate and then go, Saturday, I've just had a stellar day, or Friday, I'll just take that now. And you can just do an instant payout then, and then just revert back to the 0.99 rate the following week. So that flexibility we're finding is really resonating well.
Cool. And does it, just out of interest, does the app show you how much is waiting to go into your account?
Yeah, it shows you the amount to be paid out, net of the fees. So you can see the transaction that you made for so let's say it was £100, and there's 79p charge, or 0.79 charge that we would charge on that. So you'd see that you were getting £99 and 21p being deposited. So yeah, it's super clear. And it tells you when it will be deposited. So it's the next business day, and obviously instant now. And you can set up we've set up a function on instant payments that it will just clear every £10. If it's over £10, it just sends it. Because if you've done like one for £2, £3, you might not want this is more for coffee shops actually, because obviously Pet Grooming, you'd have more transactions than that, but you can configure how you want that to be paid out. Yeah, we're really proud of the instant payout piece. It's sector leading functionality.
Cool. And then when it comes to accounting, obviously the charges are all classed as expenses. Do you do any sort of statementing, or can they download the charges so they can? Absolutely,
yeah. So at the moment, we've got kind of like an export function. It's a little bit crude. It's not as refined as it will be in the next month or so. We're trying to do some really nice reporting, export to different file functions. At the moment, it should we say does the job. for just this month, and then in next week, in February, we'll be launching a bit more of a richer reporting suite, and then an export. You can send files to Xero and all your accounting tools today. So yeah, all of those good things, and they'll just be getting better and better the whole time. We get feedback and continue to develop the product.
Cool. And you mentioned Xero. Will you be looking at having other sort of connections like QuickBooks and Free Agent, people like that?
Yeah. So at the moment, what we've taken the view is to be able to export a file in a format that you could upload to it. Down the line, we might have like add your login and then you transfer it. It's just one extra step. So again, those are all just like refinement levels. But the key thing is that we'll provide a file with which you can extract that is compatible with all of them.
All right, cool. Excellent. So you mentioned refunds earlier. So if you overcharge, we realised we overcharged the customer the other week, and hopefully it was good customer service, because we realised at the end of the day we'd done it and we phoned them up and refunded. Do you charge people to put refunds back? Is there?
I need to double check it, but I believe it's just charged at the same rate that you charged it at, so just charge you at that. But I'll put a post back in just to confirm that. But I believe it is, yeah. It's whatever we get charged. We don't want to make any money on refunds. It's just whatever we get charged from our processing.
And is that quite simple? It's just using the app.
So in the app, so that transaction that we've just done now, I can go in there and I can press refund, and then you'll get a note saying that you get refund. And obviously it'll just take that. Let's say it was £1, so it'd be 97 or whatever I would get back, and I just see that in my statement. So it's a one button press. You can also put a reason code in as well. It's one thing we're adding. So refund are faulty goods, or not happy, or whatever. So yeah.
The one thing I was thinking, in our business, we introduced taking deposits, and that obviously the benefit of that is we get paid if people don't turn up. There's a bit of commitment from our customers, but also we get customers in our industry that jump around. So they look for the soonest appointment. So they might phone us and say, okay, we can book in on the 1st of February, and they'll book in, and now we take a deposit. So they'll book in and we'll take a deposit from them, and then they carry on phoning around. Now they might find a sooner appointment, but because we've taken their money, their deposit, they now phone us back and cancel it, which is good, because we now know that instead of just not showing up on us and us losing our appointment slot, they now phone up because they want their money back, which is fine. We're more than happy to refund their deposit if they give us enough notice. So I was just making sure that is possible on your terminal. So that's good.
Yeah. And maybe the feedback from your community might be, could we add an extra charge on that? Because I'd like to really discourage them and say, they've paid £25 deposit, but just to let you know, there's a £5 cancellation fee. So yeah, maybe comments below on whether or not we should offer that as an option to say, look, we'll charge, because there is kind of a bit of that, right? You want to deliver goodwill and you want to come back, but there's a little bit of okay, well, thanks for letting me know, but also maybe I want to add a £2 cancellation fee that then you can charge. So that's something that I'll probably take back to the team, actually, as something that we could make as an option, but just thinking on my feet there. But
yeah, a bit of like an admin charge, I suppose.
Yeah, that you pocket, not us,
Yeah, okay. So there's a few questions that I remember the other day from the group. Obviously, some of us have employees, and if it's working off a mobile phone, I mean, our business has a business mobile phone in the shop all the time, so we could use that. But a lot of people will use their personal mobile phone. And if we've got an employee to take payments, how can we enable them to use Lopay? And maybe whilst we're not in the shop, or can they download the app themselves?
Yeah, really, this is one that's on the top of my list for, I think, the first or second week of February that will be delivered, is what we call employee accounts. At the moment, you can just give your profile to be logged in by a trusted worker, and they can't really do anything in terms of changing anything. It's just that profile, and they can take money for you. But we want to do that in a more structured way. Funnily enough, it was actually taxi driving community that asked for this, whereby you might have an owner of a large taxi firm who's got 20 drivers in their fleet, and each of them would need an ID to say each driver's taken each takings, and you can then roll it up. So it's a one that we've been asked for, and we will be delivering shortly, is the answer. So hopefully in February we'll have that.
So it'll just your employee will just download the app and then link their.
Yeah, they'll basically link it. You will get a code that you will send them, which will be like an authorization code, and they will just be allowed to take money on your account. So, we've had, people like charities ask us about this, going, well, could I just, enable people from a charity perspective to be a money gatherer for me? They can't do anything, and the only thing they could ever do is take money that would go into my account. Right? There's no security risk or anything from that perspective, because you're entering in the value, going to scan that, and where it goes to is whoever sent me the permissions link. So yeah, that's the plan, and to have a really simple. You're the owner or the director, the account signee. You send a link to say you now have permission. When they download the app, they add that as the permission code or the link, and then they are trading as as an employee of that account.
Cool. You spoken to the big issue?
I haven't actually, no, but it's a big issue. Pulling out your sort of few £100 iPhone might not go down too well, but the charity market is really interesting, because it's this the pop-up events and just enabling people to receive funds, but also to receive funds at the lowest possible price. It's charity. You pay, save 50% on all of your processing fees. Yeah.
I mean, they do use a card machine. The big issue, they do use a card machine. So I want to go in the front.
Yeah. Wow. There's just so many. Yeah.
So what was the other questions? There was one about when are you going out to different countries? So are you looking to expand out into different countries?
Yes, very much so. I think the plan is that we want to just build out these feature sets that we've been requested by some really important communities that are saying, well, if you only had that, then that would be amazing, and if you had this, that would be cool. So there's almost getting the house in amazing order for making sure we've got everything, and then rinse and repeating that within other geographies. So obviously I've had some conversations with some of your colleagues on your site about Cyprus, which is a country that we'll be launching in. There's 40 countries in total that we're going to be launching in over the next year or so. In summary, I think I've had the app translated into 29 languages for those so far. So it's on the plan, but later in the year, and probably English language speaking countries first. Like the Australias, US's, Canada's, South Africa's, etc., and then thereafter we'll look at other geographies.
Oh, that's good. Got a lot of people from America and Australia in the group, so they'll be happy about that. I had a question and I just lost it. What was it? I can't remember. I was trying to think of the questions that went in the other day. Someone asked about linking it to a POS system. Was anything in development about that, or? Yeah,
it's really interesting, because we knowing some want a really specialized point of sale system, and we don't really want to tread on any of those guys' toes. But at the same time, having a super simple point of sale whereby, let's just say you've got 10 or 12 buttons that you can configure and say big dog, small dog, program 1, program 2, or wash 1, wash 2, and you can just put a number behind it. Is something that we've had a lot of feedback on would be quite useful, because people don't necessarily want an all singing and all dancing, managing their staff and HR and payroll, just a really simple point of sale. So that's something that we are looking at, and it'd be great to take feedback on that, to just say, look, do you know what, if you just had 10 or 20 buttons that I could just put a value behind, and you just keep pressing them and it adds up a total, and I can either add that or not, then actually that's fine for me. So we're looking closely at that. Actually, it'd be good to get feedback from your community on that.
I don't know whether if you downloaded the app onto an iPad, that would then give you the ability to open up some more functions and put your products into them, and then that communicates with your reader and stuff like that, I suppose. Absolutely.
Obviously, this does work on an iPad. The solution does work on an iPad, but I hear what you're saying there in terms of just saying, if you have it's almost like it's one level up from a calculator with coded buttons and then the ability to do a subtotal. And I agree. I think, and not very, very difficult to do. So watch this space.
This is development in action. This is.
Yeah. No. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
The question I went back to was a few people were concerned about internet connectivity. So some people work in garages, or they work at the bottom of the garden in like grooming pods, or some people work in mobile vans. Obviously, you've got the mobile with taxis. So do they need like a strong internet connection to use Lopay?
No, as long as you've got 3 or 4G, you should be fine. I mean, ultimately, you do need a connection because it does need to send it. Any payment system really does. So yeah, it doesn't need strong. It's not very heavy. It's not like graphics and gaming and surfing. It's a lot lighter bandwidth load, but a connection is required.
Yeah, so 4G upwards really, and obviously it's fine.
Yeah, 3G is probably fine as well if that still happens. I still find it amazing when I get 5G, and I'm sure I'm not getting this at whatever was advertised at 5G rate. It's just, yeah, it's like apparently 4G with 1 bar doesn't mean anything. But anyway, yeah, you need connection, but it's not a heavy demanding thing. It's not like you're streaming or anything like that. It's way lighter.
Yeah, cool. One thing that was raised about the payment, the card machine. What do you call it? The card terminal.
Yeah, card reader. Yeah, card reader or card terminal. Yeah.
It's free for the first 6 months. Is that right? And as long as you turn over so much.
Yeah, it's free for everybody. And what we just put on a caveat is it, and everybody should most people should do is it's free as long as you transact over £2,500 in 6 months through it. It was more of a catch-all to just see if people just order it anyway and then don't use it, and then if you didn't use it, you'd be paid £29. So that's it. It's sort of like you weren't using it anyway. So yeah, it's just really one that my should we say my investors in my business go, well, if you're giving out all of these things, because they cost 50 quid and we pay that. So there's a bit of if you just don't use it at all in 6 months, getting like 50% of the cost back would be pretty handy. So yeah, ultimately it's free. And if you've got a business where you're not putting that through it, then either you're getting loads of cash or you're losing money because you should be putting it through this because it's cheaper.
Yeah, potentially. And the £29.99 is a one-off. That's another.
Yes, one-off. There's no monthly fees for our solutions. No monthly fees or fixed fees or anything like that. It's just super simple, transaction only based model.
Excellent. I think that's all the questions that I could think of went through the group and people have asked. So what's the system is very new, isn't it? And so what's on the next sort of 6 months? What's on the cards? What will people changes there?
There's some really exciting things lined up. I think, obviously I've alluded to some of them in terms of like maybe supporting with a bit of refinement on the invoice piece, some things on tipping, some of the things within the digital receipt that you mentioned, potentially a really, really light, super light sort of point of sale kind of solution. There's also, it'd be quite exciting, the opportunity for merchants or operators to ask for a Lopay MasterCard. And to just say, could I request the card? And the funds could immediately go to that MasterCard and you could pay for the deposit with that MasterCard. It's an option that we're looking at offering. Again, it's almost like, it's like the instant payout, but it's instantly associated to a card. So you could then go and use that with some associated benefits. That's something that we're considering as well at the moment.
And the loyalty scheme, we've had a few people.
Yeah,
loyalty scheme.
Yeah, the loyalty piece is, our simplicity is sort of what we're about, and I think that the stamp card is something that everybody gets and is really comfortable with. And I think we're in the digital receipt, we're going to provide an option for anybody to say, how many stamps would I like somebody to get, in what time frame, like how quickly, and what will the reward be at the end of it. So really, really simple. Come back sooner, spend more, or spend a minimum of X and get Y. So that's something that we'll most definitely be doing, and is a key part of our just making this overall value position that just makes it a bit of a no-brainer for us independent sole trader to say, well, how can I pay the least to accept payments but get the most from it?
Excellent. Okay. And I take it you mentioned sole traders, limited companies. Can they sign up with Lopay?
Yeah. Any size. There's no limit on the size of business.
And so what if I downloaded the app today, which I have, What do I need? What's the process to go through to make it live? What documents, or do I need, like Starling, upload a video of yourself and stuff like that?
Oh, no videos for us. What we do is we have a process where you can answer 5 questions and you can take up to £200. But before you then take the funds into your account, you just have to do a small questionnaire, which takes about, I think my record is about 3 minutes. So it's really simple. It's company name, address, those type of details. And occasionally, not all the time, just depends on our systems. You might be asked to upload a driving license or a passport photo, but most of the time you don't. It's more validating the company exists, and then the account name and things match, and you put in a link to either your website or to your LinkedIn profile and things like that. So we've made it as light as we possibly can do. For obviously all the correct security protocols that we have to do, but I think it's probably the fastest solution out there, and the lightest in terms of data submission. So yeah, we've worked really hard on making that super simple, because there's a lot of solutions that like ask for your accounts and multiple submissions. And if you go to the contract-based solutions, and I think it's worth talking about those contract-based solutions, that they might have a headline number that seems like it might be less than 0.79, like 0.4, 0.5. And then you go, well, hang on, I'm paying £18 a month for this contract. And then I'm paying £5 a month for PCI certification. And then I pay something else for non-international or whatever. And you go, hang on, okay, you think you're paying 0.6, but actually the weighted cost of that is 1.2, because £18 is a lot of transactions at 0.9 or whatever. So yeah, I think if you're doing quite significant turnovers, like over the 250,000 pound level, there are going to be some contract packages which might be better for you, but they won't give you the flexibility that we do. But the vast majority of them, I guess it's a buyer beware. The fixed monthlies and paying for the terminal and those additional charges often mean that it's much more expensive than the value proposition that we're delivering, and certainly doesn't have the flexibility to go, I want my money now or tomorrow, or actually, do you know what, I'll pay less if I have it every week.
Just a bit more of a technical question. This might go above a few people's heads, maybe, I don't know. But the PCI, what was
PCI
it?
DSS. Yeah.
Why do people on contracted terminals have to pay, and I have to log on and make sure that the business is compliant with that? Whereas when it's like a terminal like yourselves, that's all sorted. I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, we're firstly PCI DSS fully secure, and we use 2-factor authentication and what's called 3DS2, which is anti-fraud protection for if people entering their card details. So we're absolutely sort of top of peer group in terms of security. Most of the problem from those contract terminals stems from the fact that you take payments. You might take a payment by the phone, and you manually enter in a card detail. Now that's very risky, and the sector and the industry doesn't like that, because you're going, could you give me your 16-digit number? Oh yeah, and could you turn over and give me the 3 numbers on the back? I mean, that's really not good. And that's why when people take payments, quite a lot of contracts say, oh, card holder not present transaction, and it might be 3% or 4%, because it's weighting the risk of that profile of that's quite heavy. So they might charge that, or see as a way to charge that to justify giving you that functionality. We don't have that. You cannot manually enter in a card number on our system, because that's not our model. You can just send them a link. Go, what's your email? What's your email? What's your WhatsApp? I'll send you a link. You send them a link, and they go Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Pay by Card, fully secure, fully protected. And by the way, as a business owner, you don't want your employees taking numbers via telephone at all. It just leaves you exposed. So, and to be quite frank as well, it's just a bit of a ruse to get a monthly value figure. They're just swapping one number for another. They're going, I can get a monthly number for £5 and 18 quid, rather than, and I'm getting more than the other headline number. So yeah, I think it's the cardholder not present transactions, which we don't do, because we've got a smarter way of doing it. And also they want to get more money from a monthly fee.
Well, you're here to disrupt the industry, and that's, I'm a big advocate that we shouldn't be paying for business bank accounts. You know, Starling, Monzo,
Yeah.
Metal, they've all gone into the industry, and quite frankly, they're really embarrassing the big names within banking. And I'm sort of really happy that they're doing that. And you're coming into the industry, and look at this, right? We've got the co-founder of a card company here talking to us and listening to us and improving the services. I can't see other card machine company owners sort of coming on and giving us that kind of like service and like listening to us as much as you do. So I was really sort of like pleased that you sort of responded and jumped on that and said, yeah, I'm going to come and listen to what you guys and girls are saying. So, you know.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, it's so valuable listening. You always listen to your customers and you say, well, if you could just do this and do that. It's not like a big, multi-billion organization that you can't, we're a UK business. We've got a team of 50 of us in the UK, and, we're here to really disrupt the sector and really importantly, listen and make sure that our customers are there. You'll notice that we've got a phone number on our website. You won't get that with Stripe or SumUp, right? Well, you may do. I don't know where it is, but in terms of and there's we've got a UK based team that will help if you've got an issue. So I think that's really important. Be dealing with funds and business process. I mean, and just everyone, our business and all of our banking rails and everything are actually supported by Stripe. Stripe's a $100 billion organization. We've got very, very robust and very secure systems that we're operating on. So that's quite an important piece just to know.
Yeah, excellent. So you're going to hang out in our group and take, if I see any questions about Lopay or card machines, and obviously you're gonna get a tag. But also, I'd really encourage you to go and seek out some of the pet grooming shows or staff.
Yes, very good point. Yeah, if you could let me know some of those to go along to, I'll do that, and I'll bring my daughters along. They'd be absolutely delighted to, I'm sure, see some of the lovely animals and share that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'll drop you an email with some of the organisers' details so you can.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that.
And get yourself a stand, because I think people would love to meet you or members of your team, and it's just it'd be really useful to get to know you and for you to explain it in person and show them how the terminal works. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate it, and thank you. And obviously, any questions at all, let me know. And I hope we continue to please everybody and just really welcome the feedback. And the great thing is, you give us the feedback and we can change it. We'll improve it. And just very grateful of it. Thank you.
No worries. I'll let you get on, and thanks for coming and speaking to us. And well, you owe me a beer now, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Take care. Bye-bye.